Hello. My presentation will be addressing the similarities and differences between the processes of writing an essay, a report, and an oral presentation. I will first give a general outline of what an essay, a report, and oral presentation is. I will then explain the similarities and differences of the processes in writing all three. An essay consists of expanding on a topic with relevant information referenced from a source. It contains a thesis statement which brings forward defendable claims. For example, in a 1,200-word essay, 3 or 4 supporting points are related to the thesis statement between the introduction and conclusion. A scientific report develops a hypothesis, testing it and deciding whether the findings are supported with relevant data. The 4 sections of a scientific report include an introduction, methods, results, and discussion. An oral presentation is engaging the audience vocally. It has an introduction, body, and conclusion, and question time. The aim is to address the audience clearly, presenting key points through the body, capturing the attention with relevant and appropriate information. The similarities between the processes of writing an essay, report, and oral presentation include: each contain the process of researching, note-taking, and referencing. Each have included in the structure an introduction and conclusion. All three have a similar writing process for the introduction, giving an outline of what will be presented through the body. They are also similar in the way that all three relate the conclusion back to the main purpose or point in the introduction. Each have a similar process of planning, drafting, and revising before completing the final copy. The differences between the writing processes of an essay, oral presentation, and report is looking at what content is included and the difference in delivery. For example, during the processes of writing an oral presentation, it's best to keep in mind, who am I speaking to? Know the audience the presentation is being delivered to. This will be a big influence on how the oral presentation is written. To identify why you are speaking to them and the purpose. Also, to think about what you need to say and clarify the key points. An oral presentation can use audio or visual aids such as PowerPoint, illustrations, or even sounds or music to help deliver material effectively. Excuse me. The differences in the process of writing an essay is to persuade the reader of your interpretation of a subject through developing a thesis, a statement that can either be argued or opposed. The thesis statement is included in the introduction, and the rest of the body will have an organized, logical evidence that is referenced from a source supporting this thesis. The difference in the process of writing a scientific report is based around the research, tests, and a hypothesis. A scientific hypothesis states 2 variables which are dependent on one another. For example, if X were to occur, then Y shall happen. This is summarized through the body section of a scientific report. The first part includes methods, which explains how the experiment was done and indicates materials or techniques used. This contains enough information for the reader to replicate the study. The next part is results, which provides a summary of the key findings, including graph, tables, and figures. The last part is the discussion, which explains what the results are and indicates whether they support the original hypothesis. Any source of error or how the experiment could be improved is included. In conclusion, the similarities in the writing processes can be linked with the similar steps and structures required to complete an oral presentation, essay, and scientific report. The differences in the writing processes come from the content itself and the delivery method. Any questions can be asked by replying in this presentation forum. My question to you is, which do you prefer out of a scientific report, oral presentation, or essay? Thank you.